So your claim is that women will be happier at home. I think you're conflating, though, happiness with importance, because I get what you're saying, where a woman can write a book and have kids, but the kids are always going to make her happier. But I think it just means that kids are always going to be more important, not necessarily make you happier. But also piggybacking on Naima, we don't live in an economy where people typically can have a one-income household,
right?
Whether it be the mom or dad that stays home. And so I think, and you keep bringing up the 1950s, which
because it was right before the fact.
I just don't know if that's the period of time that you want to go back to.
No, it's just I'm just going back to the first wave of feminism.
But you want to undo progress that's been done. So I'm curious as to what decade you'd be comfortable living in, especially as a Black woman.
And see, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I bring up liberal racists, okay? She couldn't wait to throw racism in Candace's face. Now, I'm no fan of Candace Owens, okay? I have my issues with her, but I'm gonna be honest. She ate this entire Jubilee episode. Just because racism existed doesn't mean that Candace's point is any less valid. And the thing is, with these liberal racists, okay, particularly these white liberal, or better yet, non-Black liberal racists, the thing is, they love the idea of Black people being a lower class because they feel as though we're their little science project, their little pets. Oh, we gotta take care of the poor Black people. We gotta make sure we uplift the Black woman because, you know, the Black woman's at the bottom. They love emphasizing our trauma as a community. They love it because it gives them a sense of importance. Like, look at all the charity work I'm doing for these Black people. And so when they come across a Black person like Candace Owens, who is not a liberal, who is not a Democrat. I don't know if she's Republican at this point. She's not conforming to this idea that they have of Black people. Oh, they just can't wait to throw racism in their faces. You see, she was itching to bring up that point. Well, are you sure you want to go back to that time period? You know, as a Black woman, are you sure you want to do that? And if you think that that is coming from a loving place, it's not. It's not coming from a place of, I hate racism. In one breath, they're patronizing you. In another breath, they can't wait to hold racism over your head. If you don't adopt the agenda that they have chosen for you as a Black person, then you're so terrible. Oh, look, the racism is going to get you. The boogeyman, the boogie racism man is going to get you. This is what they do. This is what they do. This is their form of racism. It's very patronizing. It's rubbing your trauma in your face. It's looking down upon you. And it's like they get off on the idea of, oh, I'm going to help the little Black people. I'm going to help the poor Black people. They get off on that. They never actually want us to be on equal footing because it makes them feel better knowing I have privilege. They love saying that. Oh, yeah, well, my white privilege. I love my white privilege. And, you know, there are privileges within society, but look, Black people got privileges too. Every single community has their own privileges and their own hindrances, okay? Every community has them. So it's like, at this point, the conversation is dead. I'm sorry. I'm tired of having this conversation. We all have our checks and balances. It is what it is. You know, these liberal racists, okay, they love racism. They love it. They love looking at Black people as the lower class. It makes them feel good about themselves. It makes them feel like they have a little pet that they can take care of. But when that pet acts up, they can't wait to throw racism in your face.
Okay, so we're going to park aside the race politics because I want to focus on.
Okay, then as a woman, what period of time do you want to go back to?
Just as a woman, I think that it was probably a better environment for women when we understood that raising our children was fulfilling.
But some women still do understand that.
Right.
And a lot of women
and I'm one of them.
And I'm here advocating for you to be able to live the life that you want and for other women to be able to live the lives they want.
Do you have children?
No.
Okay. You have a career, I presume?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you work at? What field do you work in?
I do hair.
Okay. Wonderful. So I have both children and a career, as somebody pointed out. And so the fact that I'm saying that you will be infinitely more fulfilled at the end of the day by raising your children than you will be if you come home and you say, wow, I really crushed it dyeing somebody's hair today.
See, I really hate how folks are just acting like they don't understand what Candace is saying. At no point in time is she saying that all women should have children. She's not saying that. Her message is very clear. At least it was to me. She's not saying, oh, this economy is set up for you to have children. That's not what she's saying. In fact, she said the opposite. The government has made it very difficult to have children. So she's advocating for things to be better, to allow women to really walk into their purpose. You know, I hate how people took what she said and just bastardized it. And they were literally shadow boxing with things she wasn't saying. At your deathbed, okay? If you're thinking about, you know, the pearly gates, right before you go through the pearly gates and you're sitting there on your deathbed and you're wondering, how did I fare this lifetime? And you look back and you have nothing to really show for. No legacy. Because that's what children are. Children are a legacy. You look back and you realize, dang, I truly missed out. A lot of people have that realization when it's too late. They have that realization, and a lot of times, you know, either they've hurt people and they're thinking, hey, I can never rekindle this relationship. I can never ask for forgiveness. Or it turns into, wow, I didn't have a family. So the point that she's making here is, okay, well, you have your career as a hairstylist. When you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking about that roller set you did 20 years ago. That roller set is not going to give you lifelong fulfillment. Having children, however, most certainly can, because you can think about how beautiful your children are, the lives they're going to be able to lead after your passing. There's a sense of closure you can get knowing that you left something of importance on the earth. Better yet, someone or some people of importance for those of us who have more than one kid. So, you know, I find it disgusting how much we've devalued the idea of having kids. Like, people really look at this as like the worst thing ever. You got feminists literally calling babies crotch demons. You literally have feminists wishing death upon a baby that was born out of a miracle. It's absolutely insane. I can't understand it. I don't want to understand it. You know, I have 2 children and they are literally the light of my life. But with that being said, these women that don't want to have children, I fully support them not having children. Okay. I fully support them sterilizing themselves and not having children. I don't support having a bunch of, you know, abortions, but go ahead and sterilize yourself. Go ahead and wrap it up and never bring children into this world. But once it becomes time and you look back on your life and you realize you have nothing to show for it, understand I'm also not going to feel bad for you. I'm just not. A lot of these women have been programmed to go against their very nature. And the people that, well, it's not everyone's nature, bullshit. Literally, what is the one goal of a living organism? To live and reproduce. Like, that's literally the secret sauce for life, is to live and reproduce. So I don't want to hear any of this BS about, oh, it's not in the nature. That's nature. It is in your nature. You're denying your nature. You've been trained out of your nature. What you're doing is actually very unnatural. It's very unnatural to not want to reproduce. That's why, you know, when I think about people, I think people have gotten so smart that they're dumb. We've thought our way out of realism. We've thought our way out of practicality. Literally, the goal of society is to continue society. That's what any living organism does. They continue to reproduce to keep the species alive. Feminism isn't the only issue. It's just one of the more prominent issues, right? We've allowed ourselves to be programmed into hating the very thing that we were put on this planet to do, which is reproduce. Oh, you're reducing us down to our organ. You're reducing us down to incubators. No, it's just biology. It's literally just biology. Please, can we please stop denying nature? Let's stop denying that life, like literally, like all the things that we're talking about here, your career, all that, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is keeping the species alive. That's it.
What is it exactly that makes you angry about hearing that? Like, that's what I'm actually trying.
Nothing makes
I'm
me
trying
angry.
to get. I'm trying to get to the implicit revolution.
That's the thing, is that no one
when
is
someone
angry.
mentions children.
No, see, no one's angry when you mention children. I get angry, I guess, when you mention that someone should have a children, or you're trying to impose a lifestyle onto people that you want to live, which I think is kind of funny because as someone who's anti-feminism, you practice it more than most women do. I mean, every time you get on your podcast, every time you collect a check, you're practicing feminism.
Okay, that's what you think.
No, that's what it is. Because
actually,
without feminism, you wouldn't be able to exist.
Yeah, people keep saying, I hate when people say that.
But
because
it's just the
it
truth.
just shows that you haven't done the research to even understand where the feminism
Or you don't know
came from,
history.
which was discovered. That's what I'm saying about you, because it means that you don't understand that a bunch of government officials in the CIA funded the feminist movement. So for all of your hatred for the patriarchy,
I'm so confused.
and
So my question is it bad that they funded it or bad that it just happened?
Men wanted women to go into the workforce. The government, which had a lot of men, it was being.
Are you talking about because World War II occurred and we had to go to factories, and then when we left the factories, they forced us back into the homes?
That's not what I'm saying at all. So let me tell you what I'm saying, and then you can respond to it.
Go for it.
Gloria Steinem is considered to be a feminist icon, right? Because she led these protests. She also had a bunch of music festivals. She got students involved. It is just a fact that Gloria Steinem was funded by the CIA, okay? The CIA, being the male-dominated CIA of the 50s and the 60s, funded those movements. So what do you think was the explicit aim? Do you think it was because the government really wanted you to be more free?
Exactly. A lot of these feminists don't even know the history of feminism. Feminism was actually started by men. Feminism was started by men, but these women are so deluded. And what's so sad, and Candace, I think she hinted at this in a different section of this Jubilee video. Feminism literally is all about denying everything that makes women special. Like, literally, the one thing we can do that men can't do is have babies, but we're seemingly finding value in only being able to do what a man can do. That's literally what all these feminists say. I can do what a man can do. That's not what makes you special, honey. What makes you special is that thing that men cannot do, which is have children. As much as they may want to delude themselves into saying that men can get pregnant, it's not real. That's not true. Women are the ones who bring life into this world. We literally create life, and it is such a beautiful thing. But feminism has confused y'all into thinking that it's shameful or that it's not that big of a deal, the one thing you can do that men can't. You would think that something called feminism would be about uplifting the things that make women special, but it's not. These people trust the government way too much, all while complaining about the patriarchy. It's illogical. It's absolutely illogical. You're complaining about a system, right? They always love to say the government is a patriarchy. It's a patriarchy. But when given information that lets you know, hey, the feminist movement was funded by the government, that same patriarchy, are you mad that the government funded it? Or are you mad that we're like free? Like, girl, put the pieces together. This is why I think that these folks really don't have that many brain cells to operate off of. Because logically, if I already have a distrust for the government, if I find out that the government is behind a movement, guess what? I'm side-eyeing that movement. You have ulterior motives and you've been propagandizing the entire country into believing something that is false, like feminism empowers women. No, it doesn't. It strips us of the very thing that makes us special. The government wants to be able to profit off of all people. That's the goal. The goal is to profit off of us and give us as little say as possible in our own comings and goings. The government is never going to operate in a way to make us more free. It's just illogical to think that. And as people who, fight the patriarchy, they say, fight the patriarchy. Y'all love the very propaganda that the patriarchy gave you. Let's think about this for more than 2 seconds and not just regurgitate things we've heard other people say. Actually sit with the information and critically think. I really feel like the school systems failed us. Well, not me, because I critically think about everything. I probably overthink a lot of things. But the school system in America has really failed several generations because a lot of y'all can't critically think. You can't think deeper than what people have told you. You can't put things together. You can't read between the lines. Y'all are way too trusting and naive. And that's a fact.
That they wanted to encourage women to enter
Well,
the
I have to be honest with
workforce.
you. I couldn't speak on behalf of the government.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And what their intention
Well, I think it's important
was
because you
with
just said that I don't know history. And I think it's pretty important if you're going to sit across from me and say, I don't know history, that you
Yeah,
learn a
but-
piece of history and then question as
You keep bringing up men, and I think it's funny because we should talk about men more. Like you brought up suicide, they're 4 times more likely to kill themselves.
which is why I don't
And while
believe-
women, we're twice as more often on antidepressants, but that's because we go out and do what we need to do to keep coping.
because we're not happy.
And we need to focus on men and the patriarchy because it's actually oppressed them just as much as women now emotionally, right? Because when we're kids, our parents teach us how to cross the street. Look both ways so you can get the other side unharmed. When a boy comes across a feeling, and I'm using men and boys here because they're the ones suffering, women are too, but emotionally. When they come across a feeling they haven't felt before, we have to teach them how to get to the other side and cope with it. Otherwise, they stay where they are. That anger and resentment builds. That's the feeling they become most comfortable with. That's the feeling they go to first in most situations.
right,
So we need to
pause.
stop telling our boys that they don't cry because they do. They just do it alone, and then they become even more alone.
They will literally applaud anything. What did that have to do with the entire claim? That literally has nothing to do with the claim. What are we talking about here? I swear they applaud anything. This woman went on a whole tirade about men, the patriarchy, it hurts. What does that have to do with the topic? I'm pretty sure that was not the topic of this conversation. But see, that's what they do when they don't have an actual point, when they don't have an actual rebuttal to what you say, they will move the conversation to something else because they can't deal with what you said. This is a tactic used by everybody. Liberals, conservatives, everybody. Everybody who don't know what the hell they talking about. This is exactly what they do. They will change the subject to something else. Okay, that's all they know how to do. They don't know how to deal with what the person in front of them is saying. My expectations were low. When I saw this pop up on my feed, my expectations were low. And like I said before, I'm not a fan of Candace Owens. And honestly, I hate that they make her look good. I'm sorry. These videos with these liberals, they make Candace look like the smartest person because they're just so dumb. These surrounded episodes, honestly, I don't really like the format of it. The whole idea of racing to the chair is just silly. I mean, even if you just think about the positioning, so somebody that's right in front of the chair has a much easier time than somebody that's sitting behind the person that they're planning on debating. It's just the format is silly. I'm gonna be honest. Whenever you see these surrounded and the people surrounding are liberals, oftentimes they're extremely rude, condescending, argumentative, not in a good way, not like a debating argumentative, just in a rude, I want to talk over you and not hear anything you have to say argumentative. It's hard to watch. I'm gonna be honest, this was the part that irritated me the most. Candace, is that when you want to go back? How patronizing. Is that when you want to go back to, when there was a lot of racism? Is that when you want to go back to, Candace, as a Black woman? That grinds my gears. That is just it's so annoying and it's so cringe. And these same people claim to be allies. How are you my ally? You're not. You just like the fact that Black people are at the bottom. That is something you get off on. You like the idea. Better yet, let me rephrase that. You like the idea of Black people being at the bottom. I refuse to accept that as a reality. So she likes the idea of Black people being at the bottom. And it gives her some kind of enjoyment knowing that she has this perceived privilege. She likes that. She revels in it. That's why she couldn't wait to throw that in Candace's face. But y'all, let me know what you think. You agree with the hairdresser? Okay, do you agree with her? That, Candace, you want to go back to the 50s? Are you sure as a Black woman, as a Black woman, you want to go back to the 50s? You agree with her, or do you agree with Candace that women in general would just be happier if they had children? Not saying that you can't work, not saying that you can't have career, but just saying having children will give you more gratification in life. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below, and I will see y'all with the next one. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Deuces.